And suppose we want to convert this our string buffer object into a string, then how we can do it? String str equal to svr. So this will be wrong. If we can't directly assign svr into the str, because this is some other class object, and this is str is a string class object, so this will not work. If we try to run this program, then it will throw an error. See, it is throwing an error. String buffer cannot be converted to string because svr is object of string buffer class, and here we want to assign this string buffer class object into a string, so that is invalid. So how we can change it? We can assign string buffer class object into string using toString method. String. Okay, so now this string buffer class object will be converted into the string. Then we are assigning this converted string object into the string object str. Okay, let's run this program and see the output. See, here at line number 6 we are creating string buffer class object, and we are passing the mark value first name into the string buffer class object. At line number 7 we are printing the string buffer object which is mark. Okay, and at line number 8 what we are doing, we are appending the Zuckerberg. So Zuckerberg will be appended into the 16 characters. We have 16 characters more capacity. Okay, at the time of initialization we have space, continuous memory location space of 16 characters. So Zuckerberg will be added into these empty character space. Okay, at line number 9 we are printing the string buffer class. Okay, so Mark Zuckerberg will be printed, and at line number 11 we are converting our string buffer class to toString, and we are assigning this converted string object into the str, our string object. At line number 12 we are printing our string object, so Mark Zuckerberg is printed. And suppose if you want to do the reverse thing, means first we create a string object and then we try to assign to the string buffer object. Okay, let's try that also. Okay, first we will create a string object string. Okay, this is string literal. So mark will be stored into the string constant full memory area. So mark will be stored here. So it will be into a string constant full area. So mark will be stored here, and this is str. Okay, so mark will be stored into the string constant full area, because whenever we run this line number 6, then first it will try to search for the mark value into the string constant full area. Earlier there was no mark value in the string constant full area, so it will create a new string object mark. Okay, and into the heap of string constant full memory, and string constant full memory is part of heap only, and str string object will have reference to this mark object. Okay, and this string object will be into the stack memory only. We can print system dot out dot print str. So mark is printed. See, now suppose if we want to append the Zuckerberg also, we need to assign it like that, mark and mark plus Zuckerberg. Okay, let me run this program and see the output. So now Mark Zuckerberg is getting created. So because we are assigning Mark plus Zuckerberg, Mark Zuckerberg to as a new value, so Mark Zuckerberg will be created as a new value, and str will have reference to the Mark Zuckerberg now. So str will have reference to Mark Zuckerberg, and this reference will be gone. This str will be gone. Okay, so Mark Zuckerberg will be created into the string constant full memory. Okay, and now str is pointing to the Mark Zuckerberg, and suppose we want to assign this Mark Zuckerberg value into the string buffer object, so we can create a string buffer, then we can pass our string str. Okay, then we can pass our string to string buffer object. Now I'm printing the value of svr string buffer object. Okay, let me run this program and see the output. So see, Mark Zuckerberg is printed. So what's happening in this program? At line number 6, we are creating a string mark. Okay, mark string is getting created. Then at line number 7, we are printing mark. Okay, mark is getting printed here. And at line number 8, we are reassigning some new string to the str object, string object. So we are saying mark plus Zuckerberg. So for at line number 11, this mark Zuckerberg will be created, and now str will refer to this mark Zuckerberg only. See, this will refer to mark Zuckerberg only, and this earlier reference to the mark object will be gone. Earlier str was referring to the mark object. This connection is gone. Now str is referring to the mark Zuckerberg object. Okay, line number 9 is getting printed. Mark Zuckerberg is getting printed. At line number 11, we are creating a string buffer class. Okay, our string SBR is a string buffer object, and we are passing our string object into the string buffer class. So at line number 12, we are printing str. We need to print SBR. So what will happen at line number 11? We are creating a string buffer object, and we are passing our string as an argument. See, this Mark Zuckerberg is the string value. So this string value will be created, because we already know that string buffer is a mutable value. Okay, string buffer objects are mutable, and they reside into the heap memory. They don't reside into the string constant pool area. Okay, so whatever value we are assigning to string buffer object will reside into the heap memory location, not into the string constant pool area. Okay, so SBR, this will be SBR. Now our SBR is reference to the Mark Zuckerberg. Okay, we are not pointing to the older Mark Zuckerberg by the SBR. With the help of SBR, we are not pointing to the Mark Zuckerberg, the old Mark Zuckerberg object. We are creating new Mark Zuckerberg object, and we are pointing this Mark Zuckerberg object by the string builder object SBR. Okay, because string buffer object is mutable, we can change and modify it, and the and string object is immutable. If suppose it was referring to the Mark Zuckerberg only. Suppose it was referring to Mark Zuckerberg into the string constant pool area, and suppose if we do SBR dot append CEO, then we are appending the CEO value into the Mark Zuckerberg. So this Mark Zuckerberg, we can't assign, or we can't append CEO value into this Mark Zuckerberg. We can't, because string objects are immutable. We can't append CEO value here. Okay, that is why we are not referring the old Mark Zuckerberg value by the SBR object, because string buffer object is a mutable object. We are creating new object for SBR. Okay, so here we are creating new object for SBR, Mark Zuckerberg. And suppose now if we want to append some value like SBR dot append. Okay, so first we will try to find out SBR. SBR is present into the heap memory location here, and we want to append the CEO. Okay, so here we don't need to create a new object like Mark Zuckerberg, then CEO. We don't need to create a new object. We can directly change this object itself. Okay, since string buffer class objects are mutable, so we can directly change this value to CEO, this Mark Zuckerberg CEO. Okay, so now this Mark Zuckerberg value is changed, since string buffer class objects are modifiable, they are mutable. Okay, let me print this value also. Now let's run this program and see the output. Our str will remain same. Str will be pointing to Mark Zuckerberg only. Okay, let me run this program and see the output. Oh, I need to put semicolon here. Let me again run this program and see the output. See. So we will see this program line by line. At line number 6, we are creating a string object mark and we are printing it. So mark is printed. And at line number 8, we are reassigning value to the string object mark Zuckerberg. Okay, and we are printing the newly assigned updated value. Okay, so mark Zuckerberg is getting printed. And at line number 11, we are creating a string buffer object. Okay, string buffer object with the help of str. Str is nothing but Mark Zuckerberg. So new value Mark Zuckerberg will get created, and we are printing the string buffer object. So Mark Zuckerberg is getting printed, and then we are appending the CEO into the string buffer object. So it was our string buffer object. We have appended the CEO value here. So CEO is appended here, and at line number 13 we are at line number 14 we are printing the string buffer object. Mark Zuckerberg CEO is getting printed here. Okay. Why we are why we create a string buffer object using string object? Because string buffer objects are modifiable. Like we can append CEO kind of value. So whenever we create a string buffer object, whenever we initialize the string buffer object, so apart from Mark Zuckerberg characters, it will have 16 character capacity also in the continuous memory. In the continuous memory, it will have 16 characters holding capacity. It can hold 16 characters more. So, and in those 16 characters, we have appended CEO characters. Okay. So this is how string buffer class works in Java.